Hi there, Janet Fritz here for Galaxy Girl Creations. Welcome to my channel and welcome to Color Craze, which I am combining today with Series 13 of Christie's Beautiful Life. And this is the palette that we are using for today. And the sketch that we are using from Christie's Beautiful Life is from Natalie Archer for day 29. Mine is going to be kind of rotated, I guess. I have two photos that I am using. She has, looks like 3 on hers. I'm just going to use these 2 of my son working on his girlfriend's car. And I'm going to do a whole bunch of paper layering right below those photos to give a lot of texture and a lot of added dimension. So I am using my distress tool from Some Assemblage Required to rough up all those edges. This tool has been so fabulous. I have never liked distressing edges much. But once I got this tool, I don't mind it at all because the tool is big enough to hold. It's comfortable in my hand versus the ones that are like just a little bit bigger than a quarter. So this one has just been really, really fabulous. It's easy to hold on to. It's got lots of slots with a blade in them, and the slots are very deep so that you can get your papers in there and not, they don't like slide out as you are distressing like my other little tiny one does. The slot is so tiny in it, the paper doesn't stay in there. Anyway, onward. I'm just using lots of papers from my scrap bin, as you can see here. Loving getting a bunch of these used up. It's been a while since I've done some layering, and it seems like this month I have enjoyed doing that quite a bit. And I've been just able to pull out lots of papers from my scraps and get those on to a layout. So I have this other paper here that has pipes on it. This is from Minte, and we used this in Kit Conspiracy about last spring, I think. And it's, I think, one of the only papers I had left. I might have one other. And I'm going to go ahead and use that because it's got the blues in it and it's got that orange. So I felt like it was a great match for this, for today's color inspiration, which has a couple of blues, a really light dusty gray blue, and then 2 oranges. So I thought that was a great match, pulling in that coppery orange color. I know it might be a little darker than what the color inspiration has on it, but it's going to work great. So pulled out lots of different blues and oranges from my scrap bin and tried to match those up with the color inspiration as well. And when we do this Color Craze series, we don't just rely on the palette that is offered. We look at the picture also, because oftentimes the photo has more colors in it than what the palette offered. And so we're able to kind of adjust it for our needs just a bit. So now I've got my pipe paper in a vertical design. I'm going to switch that and go with a horizontal, I think. I'm just kind of playing with the overall direction everything's going to go. That dark paper in the background, I'm not sure where it's from. It's from my stash, and there is no name on it at this point. Oh, actually, you know what? It is from Glitz Design. I can see the paper that I cut off of it, the branding strip. It's from Glitz Design. It's really old because I don't believe Glitz is around anymore. And I just liked it because it's kind of that dark color, and then it's got a weathered look around the edges, especially that top edge. And so I'm going to go ahead and use that. And this is the orientation that I'm going to start with. I'm going to keep it horizontal, but then I'm going to go with that vertical kind of diagonal. It's a bit like the inspiration piece, although I'm not using the big circle, and my band across the middle is not going diagonally. So I don't do diagonal like that very often with my photos. I feel like, I don't know, I just don't do it very often, and especially with 2 photos. Maybe with 3 it would look a little bit better, but with 2, I don't know. I felt like it would look lopsided. I'm sure it would be fine, but if I did. But anyway, I have a whole bunch of embellishments from the Minte Garage collection left over from Kit Conspiracy, as you can see here. And then I've got some pieces that are from their chipboard set as well, and they are already colored because I colored them when I used them for Kit Conspiracy. I just did all of them at the same time, so conveniently they're already colored. I believe I did all of the coloring on them with some Nuvo Deluxe, not Deluxe adhesive, Nuvo Mousse, in Cosmic Brown and in Gunmetal Gray. And I'm really liking the way that that looks because it brings in that lighter gray-blue color that I've already got going on in the inspiration. And it brings in copper, which kind of nods its head over to the orange side. And I'm really liking how that's looking. I am still roughing up all my edges of these 3x4 cards. I'm going to tuck them under. Now he's not working on the engine and there are pistons in that 3x4 card, but that's not going to show. I'm going to put the title right over that. I did originally want it to show because, you know, if you're working on a car, you're working on a car and it's got pistons. It's not a big deal that it would show. But I did need a place for my title to land, and that became the place. So I'm just trying to layer up where I'm going to put things. Now, since I did rough up the edges so much of these papers, I do need a little bit of foam behind my 3x4 cards to give them a little bit of lift. I also have a lot of layers behind my photograph, and I'm not using my 3x4 cards on the bottom layer. They are on one of the topmost layers, so that is adding dimension as well. So adding the foam is adding a little bit of support for those 3x4 cards, which is where I'm going to build my clusters. I'm really happy with this bottom cluster, so I just need to make sure I get everything put down where it needs to be with regard to the photograph and the 3x4 card, because I want to make sure that 3x4 card reaches all the way out to the edge. I don't want to tuck it up under my photograph too far and then have it not reach up, or have the have to move my photos down further and then my top one won't span the difference. So trying to get all of that in place first before I put the 3x4 cards down permanently, and that way I know all the papers are going to line up right. I am using Nuvo Deluxe adhesive to adhere all of these things down. It is my favorite glue, and I say this quite often. I just work with it on its side right there on my desk. It doesn't clog. I did leave it overnight 24 hours and it did clog then, but I just popped the little top off and went and ran it under some water and stuck a little pin through it to clean the very tip of the nozzle, and it's back in fine, perfect working order. But really, I mean, I couldn't ask for a better outcome since I left it on my desk for more than 24 hours open. I think with most glues that would have probably been the end of them. So I'm just using a little bit of foam glue dots here. These came from somebody who was getting rid of a whole bunch of stash, and so I inherited them. And so I'm trying to use up bits and bobs of glue or adhesive, different types of adhesive. So you might see me pull out different types of adhesive from time to time as I think it will work or as it's handy, and use it on my layout other than my normal craft foam that I get from Walmart, or my normal, well, actually I don't have any other liquid glue. So the liquid glue is a moot point. I use Nuvo all the time. I did pull out these thickers, trying to use up my thickers as well. I do have tons of dyes and I love making my own, but I'm trying to use up some of the ones that I have in my stash so I can pare back on that and make more room in my stash. And so I'm using these black ones that say it's a dirty job. I tried 2 other sets prior to this. I pulled out 2 other sets prior and realized I didn't have enough letters to make the words I wanted. So this is the set that is going to get used. And then I actually pulled out another set that did have the correct letters, but the alpha was way too big to go on this card. I am just working on centering those a little bit better. And then I'm going to work on my little cluster up here to give it a little bit of dimension and a little bit of added interest. My journaling is probably just going to go right below that left-hand photo. And I really need to ask my son which part of the car he is working on. I know it looks like he's working on the wheel, but I believe he might be working on the leaf springs or I don't think it's the shock, the leaf springs, or something else underneath, because he has been doing a lot of work on this Jeep over the last couple years, and each time it's something different. So, and it looks like he's doing the same thing. It looks like he's pulled the wheel off and he's working on the brakes or something, but it's not. So I will have to ask him what it was this time so I can make a little note of that. And that'll probably be all I write on here, is what exactly he's fixing. Now, I really liked that van right there. I thought it would be super cute, but honestly, I didn't want to take the time to go and add any mixed media to it, and I didn't really like how it was kind of hanging off the side of the photograph there, so I decided not to use it. I pulled out my Ancient Media Gloss Spray, that is the name of the color, and I just loosely went over my title with it, and I'm letting it soak into that foam to kind of grunge it up a bit, and that is it, you guys. While don't forget to go check out what MK's doing over on her channel for Color Craze today, and there is a playlist link down below so you can see what everyone is doing for 30 days of sketches and what they've done with this sketch and all of the sketches so far. Off camera, I added a little bit of white splatter and ancient splatter just to finish it off, and that is it. Thanks so much for spending time with me, and I will see you guys again soon with another video. Bye bye.